Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot Studio. I am your host, Mary Ellen. This is the part 2 episode of echo dyeing using the sun dyeing method, and we get to see what the results are. I want to do the same thing that I did last time, which is do the labeling, as well as I want to sort of rank, let's say my top four recommendations for good reliable results for sun dyeing, in case anybody is interested in following along. And I've got the steam dyeing with me as well. I used sort of a lot of the materials in both places, and we can sort of compare and contrast. Not going to be a fast video. Okay, dokey, smoky pokey. So here, okay, this is the order. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of work went into making sure that I kept this order with this page. Oh, the other thing that I did, because I think I'm clever, is I made some tickets or bits so that we can easily use them and not have to worry as much. Okay, I need to do a couple more rows, but that's fine. Just helps with the overall process. I've done 9, so I need to get all of them plus one more. Okay, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. And we don't need all to be the same size. So it is a squillion degrees outside, like bananas hot. And so I am indoors enjoying my lot in life as much as humanly possible under the circumstances. Okay. Alrighty. Wow. Alrighty then. So, how do I want to do it? Let's do this one at a time so we can sort of see the items as we go. So this is geranium. And that's still a little bit of plant matter. Wasn't able to brush off. A little bit of darkness. Of course I need to get up. Be right back. Because what I want to see is the original color of the sheet. And let's fold that differently to get rid of it. That will be probably wash out, but we're not going to wash it at the moment. So this is the original color. And so this is, well, according to my dye book, the Spectrum book, this color is defined a bunch of different ways. Taupe, light tan, there's another one that they use on the regular. And I think the shades of this, what I would love is for the package of Pantone colors and be able to just create, it is this Pantone color, so that there would be an independent reference. Because who doesn't want chromatography? So this, when I did the original ones, I was trying to pin on what was considered the right side, and I'm not sure that there really is one, though this is a little bit darker than that side, so let's call that right side. Okay, so that's geranium. Geranium, and how big a piece was that? Oh, it was about that piece. Okay, all right. So date. Geranium was, let's do pen. June 29 to . July 1325. Dye material is red geranium. Geranium. Source, my garden. Fabric type, 100% cotton sheet, mordant, alum. Sun dye. And so 29.30, 15 days. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. Okay, so that's that geranium. Let's have a look at what this geranium is, if we can find it. Okay, here's geranium. So here's the pot dyed version. Pot dyed version is more intense, more yellows, but it has the same kind of splodgy bits. So that's information. Now then, let's do a ranking. What do we want to call this? If I were giving recommendations to somebody who had never done this kind of dyeing before, and they said, hey, I've got a bunch of material and I have this, what would I recommend? I would rate it a C. Because there's not color, but there is tone. It's a, what do we call it? Low volume quilting. So we got that as a C. So let's put that down here as well. Okay, that was exhausting. Okay, next one up is beach. Here is beach. This is lovely color. I like this one a lot. And we always go for the splodges to see how they have seeped through. So I'm going to call this one the right side. This one worked nicely. The maybe we'll do the observation of that here with this one, because I'm going to guess this one is going to see a far more pronounced contrast. Okay. Date is going to be the same as the other one, I think. Yes. June 29 to July 1325. 15 days. Dye material is beach. Trail. 100% cotton sheet. Mordant. Alum. Sun dye. 15 days. Okay. And then that is a nice color too. I don't know what the group would call this. Like, is that a dark tan or is that a yellow? That's a good question. So that's beach. Where is beach? I didn't do all of them. But I need to do some more, but it's way too hot. Ah, here. So that's the difference in terms of, this is sun dyeing. So sun dyeing versus steam dyeing. This is, think about cooking. This is low and slow. And I don't know what the other one is, hot and fast, I guess. So the temperature level is steam heat, and steam heat for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. This never gets that hot. So the heat has a significant effect on the amount of dye that comes out. That is my current working theory, because I did the same clipping to see if I was going to get some leaching, and there was no leaching like this. And clearly, wildly different colors. So there's that one. Okay, and what do we want to rate this one as? You can do a beach. C. It's okay. C plus? Let's call it a C plus. Okay. Next one up is the Blue Dye Baby's Breath. Super sad. There is color change, but like barely. And I don't know what to make of that. It may be that the manufacturers deliberately create something that is water soluble so that there's no staining that happens. Maybe this is if you put that in a, say, a wedding dress, but even so, a wedding dress, you wouldn't want it to be stained, even though these are funerary. And I think if I used a I ran this through the wash, these pieces would come out as well. When you layer it up like this, you can almost kind of get a yellow, but sorely disappointed is what I'm gonna say to this. Sorely disappointed. A little bit of blue there. So, date, June 29 to July 13/25. Dye material is Blue Dye Baby's Breath. Floral arrangement, fabric type, 100% cotton sheet, mordant alum, sun dye, 15 days. Did I put the, I didn't put the, call this a C plus. And I am going, this is an F. Do not waste time. And in fact, I might over dye this, just because that doesn't really give me anything. Okay, next up, what do I call this? I call that an F. F. Okay, next one is roses. Ooh. So the roses, calling this one. So you can see there's that bright yellow that's there, and then the taupe, and also the little bits at the very center, the anthers. They have a lot of color in them as well. So this is kind of what I thought the beach would do. But this is pretty decent. It's, yeah, this is the right side. This has texture in it. It captures variation in color. So if you wanted a piece that was sort of more yellow, you could use that piece. If you wanted something more tan, you could use that. Not awful, not awful. And then the wild texture there. Before we go further, where's the roses? So this is the steam dyed roses. So you can tell that they are the same thing, though the steam dyeing has a lot more punch to it, a lot more color coming out. So let's go to our next sheet. June 29 to July 13, 25. Dye material is roses. Garden. 100% cotton sheet. Mordant alum. Sun. Dye. 15 days. Okay, so what would we give this as a rating? It's not a C, so a B, B plus. I feel a B plus, but we can always change the grade. So not awful, not fabulous, but not awful. Okay. What did I call that one? A B plus. B plus. Okay, next one up is Marigold. There. That's what I call something satisfying. That is changed fabric color. I don't know if you can tell. I wonder if putting this under will show the, there is slight variation. There's slightly darker color here, slightly lighter there. That might be schmutz. Schmutz it might be. Okay. There. Let's do the sign. Stack these up a little bit better. There we are. In June 29 to July 31, 25. Marigold. Garden. 100% cotton sheet. Mordant alum. Sun dye 15 days. Note about how I do the date. I put in the 3 letters of the month and then the number, because when you get like is 05 is 06 May 6th or June 5th. So there is a thing called unambiguous or disambiguous, and that it just allows you to have the more precise date. I am not submitting this for anything. It just makes me happy, and it's also part of my recording habit when I remember. Okay, oh wait, yeah, wow, Shekela. So this is the steam dyed. Wow, 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 wow. Look at the difference. Bahan Azahai. That is a corking big difference. Love that. Marigold, I will say, is this an A? I'm going to call this an A. It will give you, I think, a, so why am I calling it an A? There is good color, saturation, it is took well, and it is it's a decent color. So I'll give that an A. There we are. Okay, next, thing. Oh, and now for sage. Okay, so there was trouble with the sage. I was hoping that this would sadden with me putting it into iron. You can sort of tell-ish maybe that it's a little bit of a dye difference. So here's what I think happened. I think when I was preparing the iron to do the iron plunge, I had not let the it sort of cook. That's the wrong word for it. So when you want to make an iron dye, jar, some vinegar, warm water, you take rusty bits or steel bits, and the vinegar is going to eat away because it's an acid and create rust on its own. You plunk that all in, you let it sit. I let it sit for way not long enough. Deb, I think, suggested that she has one of those rolling at all times, and some book, or maybe it was the internet, said a 2 weeks is about the amount of time to make that like really rich. So I think the problem with this was that I did not let it sit long enough. I had a poor iron dye. So we need to do another one of those, because I will have my sage. I will have it, I say. Okay. June 29 to July 13/25. Sage, garden, 100% cotton sheet, alum, iron, afterbath, not ready, too short. It's not fermentation, it's too short. Let's call it a steep. To get iron. Okay, that's a lot of work. Dye process, what do we call this? Sun dye? Sun dye, fitting days with Fe is iron, afterbath. So, what do we want to call this? This is taupey. I am not a big old fan of taupey, and it did not yield the sage results that I wanted. So I am going to give this an F. That piece of material, not the process. Because I think if we did the process right, that number, that letter would go up. Okay, what do we have next? So we have a different, so July 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What's that? 8 days. So I did 3 more pots that I set up July 6th, and that was an 18 days. So those were 15 days. This is 8 days. And next one up is walnut. Yum, mama mo. Look at that. Look at that. Yum. That's so good. This did not need the alum. I put it in there because it was just part of the old habit. And my method, oh, this is the right side. For sure it's the right side. Here we are. And I can tell, right side, see how muted that is versus these lines being so much crisper. There we are. Flip that over like that, or what's that one look like? Oh, let's do it that way. There. July 6 to July 13/25. Dye material. This was shredded. It's grated. Grated black walnut, source, trail, fabric type, 100% cotton, sheet, alum, sun dye, 8 days, and I'm giving this like an A plus. Clearly, I think this has a tremendous range as well of colors, and you'd probably have to do some experiments in terms of how much steeping, how much heat, how much dye matter, all that kind of stuff. So this brown here versus this brown here, lots of variation. And this is the original color. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, do I have? I don't think I do. No, I don't. Okay, what do I call that one? Plus. And, ooh, buckthorn. Buckthorn is next. Yummy. So this has got a lot of variation in it as well. So there's a couple of splodges. This splodge here, I think it was sort of like that. So in the jar, those two little bits were floating like that, and the dye never really took to it. And this was probably crushed inside. If you did this sun dyeing, and you had like the tie-dye method of, you know, being able to pinch things and do, you know, really tight banding and so on and so forth, you would be able to get patterns that are basically tie-dye patterns. And I think the Japanese have a name for it. It might be shibori, that they do that with using indigo. So this is buckthorn. Okay. July 6 to July 13, 25. Buckthorn. And this, I was using the leaves, the branches, and the, they have berries. This is on the trail. Fabric type, 100% cotton sheet. I wish there was a symbol, like a scientific symbol for cotton. It was like a shorthand. If anybody knows what that is, I'm all ears, because, oh, writing out 6 whole letters is just it's a burden. Alum, and this is sun dye. 8 days, and I'm giving this an A+. Now, one of the visitors that I had recently, she has a garden, and she just grows stuff. She wants she's into permaculture, and she likes very much to have a lawn that does not require mowing. And so she has a lot of variety of things, and she was listing out a lot of the things that she had in her garden, and then she happened to say, oh, I also have woad. And I nearly lost my mind, because woad, blue dye, and you need to bring me some, and why don't you dye? Not D-I-E, D-Y-E. And so I thought it was like a colossal waste of perfectly good plant material being wasted on her. Anyway, so I got the seeds, and a very low margin. This was absolutely a test for me, because I had no idea what was going to happen. So I took that woad seed and then just used the same process that everything else, and it is a shockingly unproductive dye, but there is a color change. it is very weak. And so I think I have learned something. Yes. I so need to plant some of the seed and get my own woad plants. She also brought me some indigo because, of course, she grows all of these things. Why is the people who treasure the high-end, high dye density plants are not the same people that have the success with growing it? Oh, my stars. Those might be bits. Oh, no, they're not. They're schmutz. Aw, sad but true. Yeah, it's just schmutz. So anyways, that's my excitement over woad and the informative result. July 6 to July 13, dye material is woad seed. Source BC. I'll call it BC Garden. Fabric type 100% cotton. Sheet, mordant, alum, sun dye, 8 days, and this is an F. Okay. Oops, wow, okay. So I have sage bloom here. I did 2 sage blooms. This was wild grape. This was, I did a second rose. This was purple clover, so I didn't do any more of those. So that's all we have. So now we can do a bit of a review. So how many did I do that were the same? So I did geranium, marigold, rose, beech from the other one, and then we have these. So the A's, buckthorn, walnut, an F, sage, but could be promoted. A is a marigold, a B plus. Is that a B plus or an A? These are kind of the same but different. I think if I were, so this was successful in terms of the coverage. This is successful in, I don't know. We'll put it as a B. For now, we might change. F, baby's breath. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Putting the Fs together and seeing which Fs are really bad Fs. C, what's the C? C is beech. C is geranium. Ooh, and woad seed. Okay, so we have woad. Okay, so let's do it in reverse order. So we let's do the, we need the, what do we call this? It's flown right out of my head. There is a word for this. It's not the neutral, the sample, the base. Control. Wow, that was a lot of work. But this is our control. It's where we started. So, the woad and the floral arrangement are almost the same color. I would use this over that, to be perfectly honest. So they would, in their limited capacity as a neutral, they would work. and the sage is slightly less neutral, and you can sort of see, I think, I can, it is a little bit punchier in terms of color, like there's more stuff there. And if had I done the iron dyeing properly, we would have had a better result. So this is an F. It's an F for now, but it could have a promotion. Okay. Then our C and our C plus. So C and C plus. And then we have B plus. So I'm almost willing, am I? Geranium isn't great for this. And this is getting much closer to that. So I'm willing to call this one a B. That maybe, yeah, that's what I'll do. So what did I just change? The beech is a B. So red geranium for sun dyeing. Let's bring these back. It's still in, ooh, wow. So putting that beside the sage, you can really see sage is happening. Oh, that's so interesting. But yeah, let's put that as a C minus. So that's a C minus, okay. Okay, and then we have two Bs, and two As. So B, yeah, I call that a fair B. It's just a, it is what it is. So let's have a look-see in terms of the color comparisons. So they for sure are, I'm going to call those A's. A plus or A? I'm going to call them A's. A's? A's. Walnut is an A, and buckthorn is an A. So we have two A's. Okay. Let's flip them over this way. So now we're not so worried about the label, we're just looking at the stuff. This to me is a weak color. We call that a B, and that beech was a B, and I'm going to demote you to be a C. That makes more, like that's a C minus. It's tonally, I think, more like that. Okay, so we're good. We're good, we're good, we're good. And then these two being B's. I don't know that one is better than the other. They are less a saturated color. They are solid dyers. This one has got the texture. When you put in the center bit for the roses, you get this texture, and that texture is the same thing that the walnut gives. That gives it a hair of an edge. So let's see, what do we have here? B plus an A, so this A, Marigold, I love you, but you're going down to a B. Okay. So, I think we have some winner chicken dinners. So if you are going to sun dye, I think the best materials to choose would be 2 trees and 2 flowers. Marigold and roses, buckthorn and walnut, but a walnut seed pod or whatever we want to call it. It's not the tree, it's not the branches, it's not the leaves, it is the nut. And specifically, if you had a ripe nut, you want I think it's called something, probably epi something or other, that is the green weird stuff. It's not the nut itself, it's this, the stuff that you have to crack open to get to the nut. Okay, and so that's that. So if I were to make something, what would I do? I would have maybe those. I would probably use the red geranium if I were to combine these, because that's green, and I need, like, if I have this as a yellow, it's too matchy-matchy. You could make something, and so this I would replace this with that, because again it's got the texture, and if I'm going to put these two together, I want to be able to have something visible versus I have these two together. Okay, so I think we have learned something. There we are. Okay, so I've got, this is the sun dye, and I think we can put a bow on the sun dyeing for this season, because the steam dyeing is giving me the far more pronounced colors. So if I were to make something, the other thing that I would do is I would dip into this, and I would get some of this material, particularly that color, the roses, and that is the beach. Yeah. I have so much material now. It's bananas. I feel like I need to do a series or episodes that relate to, now that we have all this fabric, what are we going to do with it? Because I don't know. Anyways, I think, are we good? I think we're good. So we learned some things. We did some comparisons. We did some letter ranking. We built our little sheets, which was useful. We were able to do the rankings. I think I said that. Here is our, what did I call it? Control. Yeah, I think we're good. So I am going to call that a video, and I am likely going to be on the hunt for more steaming stuff. I can do 3 steam bundles at a time because that's what my pot holds, but I'm not going to do any at the moment because it's a bazillion degrees, and it seems like not a bright idea to steam things when it's this hot. However, what I will be doing is going out into the Gardoon and also out onto the trails and pick stuff, and I now know that you can freeze some of this material. So once it gets sweater weather, we can do some more steam dyeing. So that is all for now. Please take very good care of yourself. Stay out of trouble. Health and safety top 5 if you're going to go out and do any of this. And oh yes, always love you lots. Talk to you soon. Bye now.